Do you believe that you can heal yourself? Too often we give our power away to something outside of ourselves, and rarely, if ever, trust and tap into our innate healing power and intuition. Everyone has this capability to heal in ways we never thought possible. It's your sovereign right to claim and have true health and lasting wellness. Now, here is the host of the Dr. Dolores Show, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer.
Well, hello, everybody, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in our amazing world. I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, and you are listening to the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network. And I've had so many people reach out to me and want to learn more about navigating timelines. So I decided to dedicate this episode to Ascension Unveiled, navigating timelines. And, people are probably wondering, what the heck is a timeline? Well, a timeline is a concept where, we're in one existence, like things are happening, but yet as we are ascending, okay, we're energetic beings, we're raising our frequency and vibration, we're kind of jumping timelines. And maybe this is happening more on an unconscious level than a conscious level. What's been interesting is that, as we know, with the acceleration of time, and I feel that everybody feels this, is that time feels like it's speeding up. For me, it seems like we don't have 24-hour days anymore. It's more like 14 to 16-hour days. What's really happening is time is starting to collapse on itself. And let me back up a little bit further and give you a little bit more information. Back in 2012, remember, after the harmonic convergence, which was a 25-year period where there was an acceleration of opening up to the by tapping into higher vibrations so we could raise humanity's frequency so we could evolve and move into a different direction than what was anticipated for us at another time and place. Okay. So this is the power of intention and power of focusing on positive. It's like the frequency and vibration raises within one of us. So when 2012 came, there was this big hoopla that it was like the end of the Mayan calendar. It was, there was a lot of doom and gloom around that, saying, oh, the earth is going to collapse on itself, and, all these interesting things were going to happen that were all fear based and stuff like that. And as we've witnessed, we've lived through 2012. And really, what 2012 was a gateway to where we are currently. And what I mean by a gateway was an opening where time that was linear, past, present, and future, linear time, okay, was starting to collapse on itself, meaning that, people said, oh, the poles are going to shift on the earth and North Pole is going to be where South Pole is. Well, that's not exactly what the pole shift was. The pole shift was, past, present, and future. Or actually, let's go this way: past, present, and future. The timelines shifted poles, so to say. So what that means is that, notice that past, present, and future are in one line. They're just happening all simultaneously at the same time. Now, I know that's a stretch for some people to believe that, but we're witnessing the collapsing of time, but also shifting to a different timeline. When our the timelines are collapsing, okay, meaning, so all that really matters is right here in this moment, okay? So when you are right here in the present moment, you're right here. What you do in this moment has the capability, because everything's collapsed on each other, to heal the past, but also create the future. Just envision an infinity sign, okay? And in the center is the present moment. So, what you do in this present moment has the capability of healing the past and creating the future. Now, if you could stretch your mind just a little bit for this, imagine that every lifetime that you have lived in previous incarnations is also lining up like that and is happening at the same moment. It might be in another dimension, a different time and place, but it's all happening right now. Okay. So when it's happening right now, what you do in this moment has a tendency to heal the past, not only in this lifetime, but in previous lifetimes as well, but and also create the future and the healing that happens in the future as well. Now, I know that's a bit of a stretch for some people, and I know that this is the truth. So, what's beautiful about this is everything that is happening right now. What you're healing from another time and place in this lifetime, but also in other lifetimes, you have the capability of having a ripple effect throughout time and space by what you do in this present moment. Yes, we are that powerful and that we are that creative, and there's so many possibilities. So when you're able to grasp that and realize how you're behaving or acting or what you're doing in this present moment, which is a choice, it's a ripple. It's like a pebble going into a body of water. The pebble drops into the body of water, and you notice that it creates a ripple. Ripple, 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 ripple. Okay. So whatever you're doing in that moment contributes to collective consciousness. Whether or not it is labeled positive or negative, it adds to the pot of collective consciousness. So, what we are witnessing right now is a lot of chaos, a lot of turmoil, a lot of fear based activity. Okay. And I want to talk a little bit more about that. The timelines that we're witnessing right now and then are kind of falling away are anything that's been built on fear, lack, abuse of power. Okay. Where we are heading is going to more love, appreciation, and respect. So when things are no longer aligned with where we are going, or they've been created out of fear or stress or lack, okay, those things are starting to fall away. It may show up as, okay, I got laid off from my job, or all of a sudden the contract that I had is no longer valid. It could show up as people leaving your life, or maybe, leaving your life because of relationships ending, or maybe they've passed away. Or it could be that, you're going through what you experience as a loss. And I'm going to invite you to kind of turn your worry into wonder. Okay. Notice that these things are happening, yet because they probably were created in a lower frequency and a lower vibration. Okay. Well, fear, stress, lack, those are low vibrating energies. Humanity's raising their frequency and consciousness to something more of love, abundance, and prosperity for all. Different vibration, folks. So if you're going through what I call the major purge, just know that you are probably jumping timelines. You're at a higher timeline, and these are like the residual things that are still part of your consciousness, your world, your universe, that are no longer in alignment with who you've become and where you are going. Okay. classic example, and I'm going to speak from my own personal life, is that I'm in healthcare. People know that. I still work in a healthcare setting, and I also see, clients and coach them and do life coaching type stuff. But what I've noticed is that the institutions where people are no longer being valued, appreciated, or respected, people are leaving in droves. And as they should. It's not like they're losing jobs. They're making the conscious choice that this is no longer is aligned with who they are. We've raised our consciousness enough and worked on ourselves that we become more aware, more mindful, and we're tapping into feeling. So if something doesn't feel right, or we're not being loved, valued, and appreciated for who we are, because we work so hard on creating that for ourselves in our personal life, why would you want to do that in your work life? That you're going to be treated disrespectfully. You're going to allow people to do that. I mean, it's a disconnect. It's just like you're just carrying through what you are and who you are, and it's no longer in alignment to where you want to go. So it's okay. It's like I love this saying, and I think Maya Angelou said this: if there's no longer love, respect being served at the table, it's time to get up from the table and find a new one that is. It's that simple. So yes, what could be what we're seeing sometimes is the fall away of stability, but it's a stability built on an illusion, or a stability built on fear and stress and lack. Okay. I invite people to look at this from a different perspective. Yes. And this is affecting everybody. And it's not just, pockets of people. In some way, shape, or form, people are having major issues happening where they are losing their jobs. Maybe they're losing their livelihood. Maybe they're losing people in their lives. This is about clearing out the old energy that is no longer aligned with who you are and where you are going. It's that simple. We create so much drama around the story and like hanging on to something that is no longer going to be effective in providing for us to where we're going to be going in the future, or supporting us. But yet we're hanging on to it as if it's a life preserver. And so I invite people to kind of sit and reflect. What's happening in your life? Are you operating from fear, or are you know, willing to take a step into love and the vibration of love, and learn how to trust more? It's about trusting versus doing, and hanging on for dear life in hopes that, okay, you know what, something is going to shift. I have news for you. You're part of this shift. It's what you do for yourself that's going to navigate you to move further into where you're going, and where you're going to be entering a time of love, prosperity, and abundance, not for just you, for all. So something to ponder as we take our first break. So just kind of reflect, take an overview. What's really going on in your life? Are you like feeling like you're in a loss of things, or going through a loss phase? And when we come back, we're going to talk more about how you can maneuver through that and be at peace with that more so as we move forward. So you're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network, and I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And we will talk more when we get back.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back, everybody. And we've been talking about jumping timelines and the ascension process and what people are experiencing right now. You're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino. I'm messing up my words here because I'm in another dimension right now. I am a nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And, I've talked to many people, and a lot of people come and seek me out when I'm in the hospital and stuff like that, because there's a lot of turmoil going on in this world. And, everybody is affected by it. People are um, trying to maneuver the storms. And sometimes it's just about visualizing yourself going down a river, okay? And you're in a vessel that's safe and it's bobbing around and floating, but you know what? You're just not really sure and you're not trusting it. And you got your oars in the water and you're fighting the current going downstream. And you're trying to make something happen and control it. And it's exhausting and it's so stressful and it keeps you stuck. So I'm just going to invite you with this visual of just pulling those oars out of the water and just putting them in your boat and just allowing yourself just to be and ride the wave. Okay. It's like, you know what? Sometimes we are in our own way and we create so much drama for ourselves. This is really funny because last night I was in a panic mode. Yes, I was, because I had lost a very important piece of paper that I was like, oh my God, I need this because I need to uh, call so and so and I need to take care of this. And I couldn't figure out where it was. So I was like trying to figure out how I could get this thing or whatever. And I just said, you know what? I know it's in my house someplace. And I remembered, I went to bed and I just set the intention, and intentions are huge. I said, you know what? When I wake up, I know I'm going to find this. Well, sure enough, when I woke up this morning, I remembered, I said, oh my God, I actually scanned a copy of this into my computer 2 weeks ago and I found it. So, what I'm saying is that sometimes the answers are there for us, but we panic because you know, we're in different timelines, okay? Different dimensions. You probably did something in another dimension and you couldn't remember where it was. And, you're in a lower dimension trying to find it, and it was filed away in a higher frequency. Interesting to contemplate. How many times has that happened to you where you leave something on the counter, you turn around, you swear it was there, it's not there, and then you turn around again and it's there. I'm sure that has happened to you. And it's not because you have like kids that move it. It's like when you live by yourself and this happens, you know that there's more going on than what you can physically see. It's like moving through different timelines and dimensions at the same time. Okay. That's another stretch for some people as far as the quantum physics of it all. But this is what is happening. Frequency, energy, it's all different vibrations. Timelines, different vibrations. Timeline of love, prosperity, and abundance, high vibrating. Timeline of fear, lack, and anything that's not of peace, lower vibrating. Okay. So here you go. You have two different timelines, two different vibrations vibrating in different frequencies, okay, happening at the same time. When you are up here and you're still carrying the baggage that you have with this lower stuff, it's going to naturally fall away in one way, shape, or form. So what you're witnessing, if you're losing your job or, needing to move to a different house or moving to a different part of the country, maybe the energy is no longer aligned with who you are up here and where you're going. Okay, where you're going in the future. So it's time to remove the energetic baggage. And yes, a job could be an energetic form of baggage. A relationship could be an energetic form of baggage. Okay. It's about vibration, frequency, and being in alignment with who you are at a soul's level. Going back to the analogy of the oars in the boat going down the river and the rapids, yeah, there might be some rapids. And this is about learning to stretch that trust muscle, which a lot of us probably have given up on or doubt it or, don't even know what trust is because it's just been so removed from your true nature or so many things have happened that it's time to reacquaint yourself with that element of trust and allowing yourself to become friends with your ego because your ego wants to keep you stuck and keep you in resistance and not want you to move forward because it wants to win. It's about playing nice in the sandbox with your ego. And the thing is, if you're not all going to play nice in the sandbox, you all need to go on a timeout and do some work to assist that to be more in equilibrium and harmony. Remember, turn your worry into wonder and surrender to the experience. By putting your oars in the boat as you're navigating the flow of life, the river, the turbulence, and then you come to a calmness, you get a reprieve and you're able to regroup and become more aligned with who you are at a very deep level. So, a lot of times when we manifest from fear, we just focus on the lack that we have in our lives. And it's almost like we are creating and intending from negative energy. Okay. That's something to consider. I mean, it was a huge epiphany for me when I got this piece for myself was that how often have I manifested things in my life that were out of fear or, fear of the unknown or fear of not having this or fear of not having that. Negative energy manifesting from fear involves being driven by negative emotions such as anxiety and worry and insecurity. When the fear is the driving force, your focus may be on avoiding unwanted outcomes rather than creating positive ones. Interesting, huh? But heavy. Heavy, interesting, and the truth. Now, resistance, let's talk about that. Fear-based manifestation often involves resistance to current circumstances. Instead of accepting the present and working towards a positive future, there is a tendency to resist and fight against what is perceived as negative. So, how many of us have that resistance within ourselves? And it's almost like a protective mechanism, but it's a false protective mechanism that allows us to stay stuck. And I'm just wondering too, when you hear about in today's day and time about um, insulin resistance, I'm going to go medical on you for a moment, and people having problems um, losing weight because of insulin resistance. It's like what in our body is creating that resistance that's showing up in a physical condition. What is that resistance that's at the core that's driving that? This is something to consider. Um, and, a lot of pondering too. So we're in a real rich time period where I believe there's so many possibilities, and it's time to become a possibilitarian. I know there's a word out there that says that, but I love that word because instead of setting limits on things and the rules say this, who made up these rules anyway? It's just like, what are these rules? Who made that up? And so, and everybody follows that as if it's, the Bible or, the word of, creation or whatever, you believe in. It's just like, those are just possibilities. Let's be open and have the ability to move forward and look at all the possibilities that are in front of us. When you have possibilities, it kind of stretches you and gets you out of where you're stuck. It doesn't limit you. Possibilities are endless. It's when we try to figure things out, that's where we add the limitations on, because we just limit ourselves to just only a small fraction of what is there for the bigger picture. So, the other thing too about talking about creating from a negative aspect, if you have a scarcity mindset, fear based manifesting is rooted in the scarcity mindset. Yeah. It operates under the belief that resources are limited and there may be not enough for everyone, including yourself. The mindset can lead to competition and a sense of lack. So when we look at what's happening in our outer world, there is a lot of scarcity mindset. There is, and even in businesses too, it's like they want you to play on people's emotions and suck them in that way. That is an old paradigm that's also crumbling too. Um, you know, yeah, people are starting to wake up and realize that they're being manipulated and controlled, and this is no longer okay. And it's not okay as to where we're going in the future. So, as we jump into another timeline and go to a higher vibrating timeline, these are some things that we just talked about that you need to, I want to say, find out and explore where this is happening in your life and maybe make some pivots and shifts to something more positive. So when we come back from our break, I can't believe we're going to be breaking again. We're going to talk about manifesting more from a love space. And, with that in mind, as we, break off here, just, ponder without judging or criticizing yourself as to where, you're jumping a timeline in your life. And I invite you to embrace that and to know that you are possibly getting upgraded to something even better than you could even imagine. You just have to step out of the way of that and just allow it to unfold without attachment to the outcome of that. Because when you start attaching to things that are no longer effective for you, you keep yourself stuck. And it might be time to let go of that resistance. So you're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network. And I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And when we come back, we'll just talk more about learning to manifest from a love space. And so when we come back, we'll take care of that.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We've been talking about jumping timelines and Ascension this episode. And before we went on break, we were kind of going down the rabbit hole of manifesting from a fear-based reality. And what we're actually, just to recap, what we're actually witnessing right now is that we're shifting from a lower vibration, fear-based, lack, and abuse of power timeline to one that is higher vibrating, that's love-based, abundance, and just delicious. That's where we're going. And with that in mind, when you are jumping a timeline and you're in a lower vibrating frequency with maybe what you're doing for a living or where you're living or who you're hanging out with, this stuff is no longer going to be able to go where you're going. It's almost like dragging a ball and chain around your ankle as you're trying to walk down the street to go to the beach. It's just like it's just weighing you down. And this is about it falling away energetically to allow to allow a void, so something more aligned with who you are energetically is going to come in. Okay. And a lot of times we don't know what that looks like because everything is happening in the moment. So when you are able to manifest from a space of love, it's manifesting from love involves cultivating positive emotions such as gratitude, joy, appreciation, and compassion. When you approach manifestation from a place of love, you are focused on what you want to create rather than what you want to avoid. This is key. We are powerful manifestors. And if anybody's in doubt about that, just think about something that you don't want to have happen. And the next thing you know, before the thought is completed, it's happened. Okay. So I invite you, if you're able to create that easily with that, flip the switch. Instead of focusing on what you don't want to create, focus on the energy and the feeling of what you want to create and experience. Feel the emotion, the all the juiciness, maybe visualize what it looks like, but what does it feel to have that? What are the feelings? And just focus your energy on the feelings. Maybe you want to learn how to trust more. So feel and focus on what it would be like to be able to trust And just that energy of what you're feeling with trust, just focus on the energy of that. This is how you're going to be able to manifest and flip a switch. Yes, sometimes you will backtrack a little bit and go down to what you don't have, but it's just like this is like your head talking and your body talking. Head saying, "Oh, but I don't have this," and this is like, "Oh, yes, these are the possibilities." This is about taming the two together so they play nicely in your sandbox. It's about allowing yourself the infinite possibilities of what's possible. Alignment with your goals. Love-based manifestation is aligned with your true desires and values. And we talked about that. It's about an energy and it's a vibration. The vibration, words and feelings have vibrations. It's about focusing and connecting with the feelings and the vibrations of what you want to create. It involves connecting with your authentic self and pursuing goals that resonate with your higher purpose. So, yes, you do need to be in your body in order to do this. You need to be in your heart space. You need to be present right here, right now. Abundance mindset. Love-based manifesting is rooted in an abundance mindset. It acknowledges that there is more than enough for everybody and that success and fulfillment are not limited resources, and they are not. The illusion is that we create that there is. There we have abundance. Okay. So with, just knowing all of that, just remember that emotional vibration and intention and focus are just important. And where you put your intention, you create. Okay. It's the law of manifestation. We want to be able to move through things. And I know a lot of times people have challenges with that. And, this is something that I could help people with, and I do help people with just moving through the chaos that they're experiencing in their life and putting it in its place and being able to create from a place of abundance, love, and appreciation. So if that's something that you're interested in, reach out to me at Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com and tell me what's going on with you and how I could best serve you. And, it's okay to ask for help. We're in interesting times, and sometimes we just can't do it on our own. So, with that being said, there's some tips that are essential for many of us who are going through these unstable timeline jumps, that as we call it. So I think one of the most important things is just to accept where you're at. Okay. Accept that, okay, you know what, this is where it is. It's about not being attached to anything, but just saying, okay, this is a situation. I'm not happy with it. And you know what? I'm going to adopt a different viewpoint. Maybe I'm going to I'm getting upgraded. That's my response to anything now. And believe me, it gets me out of my way of woe and going down the negativity rabbit hole. The other thing is stay present. I talk about this all the time, how important it is to be in the present moment, more so now than ever. Okay. Stay in your body, stay grounded in your body. For those people who have issues with that, I got a free gift for you. Go to my website, and when you see the pop-up, it's a guided meditation to stay in the present moment. Sign up and get that. It will help you stay present. It'll allow you to ground in multiple dimensions so you could be present right here, right now. And self-care. Self-care is a biggie. It's all about self-care right now. If you're exhausted, take that nap. Give yourself permission without beating yourself and feeling like, guilty. Oh, I should be doing something else. Who made that rule up? It's about listening to your body and honoring it. And we're getting ready to go take another little, I thought I was going on a break. I guess I'm not. Anyway, circling back, self-care, really huge, really important. And it is the essential for allowing yourself to be the best you can be. Okay. Set realistic goals. Don't, set goals that are, so unrealistic that you're going to feel like you set yourself up to fail. Take baby steps. If you have a goal to, create a book or something like that, break it down break down the book into the chapters and what you want to talk about. And each chapter, just take a chapter at a time. It's not about creating the book and then, because that sometimes is so overwhelming for people. And when you break it down into little steps, the better you're going to feel. Be adaptable. Okay. Cultivate flexibility and adaptability. As we know, the only certainty in life is uncertainty. So there's unexpected changes flying around everywhere. And your ability to adapt and have a positive mindset and move forward is your resilience. Connect with others. We're in a state right now of a lot of community. Communities are popping up everywhere. I think community is the new buzzword for 2024. It's like about everybody coming together and finding their tribe. And you know what? Explore. And if you're feeling like you need to connect with somebody, please do. If not, no big deal, because are you doing it to distract yourself, or are you doing it to distract yourself from yourself? Because a lot of us do that. We will find other things to do than to be by ourselves, so we could look at ourselves and dig a little deeper as to what we need to assist ourselves with to move forward. And some people, just need to be around other people that are like-minded. And, this is a biggie. It's limit your information intake. We are overwhelmed with so much information. You could hop online and there's podcasts and webinars and summits and TV shows and Netflix and, anything else you want to add to the pot. And it's so easy to be overwhelmed with a lot of information. Time to come within yourself. Sit with yourself for about 10-15 minutes in silence. You'd be amazed at what you could experience for yourself when you do that. And, maybe it's time to take a time out from being on social media, or even being attached to your new appendage, your phone or your laptop. I mean, it's crazy. It's like, when you do a check when you leave the house, brains, keys, phone. It's like, what it's like you're missing, you feel like you're missing a important aspect of yourself when you forget, especially your phone. And I just invite you to just put it on a shelf for a few hours and, go outside in the backyard and just take a deep breath or something, and just, not have that attached to you. Develop a routine. And, routines are great. However, sometimes when you have a routine, it just, after a while, you get bored with it. So it's just like, have some structure and have the flexibility to change that structure based on what your needs are. And always do what you can to learn and grow and be teachable. We are in an age where we are gaining so much wisdom and information from multiple sources. Some of it's channeled, some of it is, I want to say most of it is channeled. And some of it probably doesn't even make sense, but as time progresses, it will. And, most importantly, too, if you're feeling like you're really at a point where you really need help and stuff like that, reach out to people. Reach out to people like myself or other professionals that could support you and to help you maneuver through some of the aspects that you're experiencing on your journey. Gratitude and appreciation, huge. Remember, words have frequency. Gratitude is a high vibrating word. Appreciation is even higher. And when you start focusing on things to be appreciative and grateful for, amazing things start happening in your life. The people that you work with, just say, thank you, I appreciate that. That little piece of information just makes people smile because they feel like they're being seen, heard, and validated. I had this interesting thing happen with a young orthopedic surgeon at one of the hospitals that I practice at, and I had worked with him on a case, and he reached out to me via text, and I don't know how he got my phone number, but he did, probably from the front desk. And he said, introduced himself. He said, just thank you for everything. I really appreciated your help today. That just spoke volumes to me. I was just like, wow, this guy bent over backwards to say that. I remember that. And it's just the feeling that I got from that. This is where we're going in the future, people. Be appreciative of people and what they bring to the table. And it's amazing when you have that higher vibration of appreciation. You're going to see more and witness more and more things to be more appreciative and um and grateful for. So once again, we're getting ready for that break that I tried to take before. So you're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And when we come back, we'll talk more about jumping timelines and some final thoughts on that. So take care, and I'll see you soon.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show, and I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And we've been talking about jumping timelines today. And, for many people, it seems like their world is falling apart, and it's actually falling apart to create something better, because it has to create a void in order for you to move to where you're going. It's not a bad thing. It's just what it is. Energetically, we are getting rid of all that heavy third dimensional fear, lack, abuse of power, stress that, maybe we've manifested jobs, relationships, life paths to this point, and we're moving to a different timeline, jumping a timeline, because many of us are starting to work on ourselves and raising our frequency and vibration. And so what happens is that when we raise our frequency and vibration, we're at a higher vibration rate, and what we probably manifested before is no longer working for us. So it is no longer in alignment to the timeline that we're on now. So it's going to fall away. So I invite you to allow it to fall away with grace and ease. Get out of the way of that, accept it, and just move on and know that you are getting upgraded. It's that simple. You are getting upgraded. You're creating a void when this thing leaves. So you're allowed to create something that's going to be of a higher frequency and vibration that's more aligned with who you are at this time and moment. So when we talk about, jumping timelines, there's a lot of trust that goes into that. A lot of times it's blind trust, because we have no reference point, or idea of what's to come. That's the beauty of being in the present moment, because whatever you create in this moment, or whatever your intention is in this moment, creates your future. And this is like the perfect segue as we go into next week's episode, where it's called Trust Yourself. And, when you trust yourself, it's almost as if you know what you know what you know. And trust, for many of us has been a very difficult thing, because we've had the ultimate betrayal of trust. And so, to the extent that we don't even trust ourselves. So, it's like starting from ground zero to build a solid foundation as we move forward, to know that the universe does have your back and to trust the process. So, just a little bit about next week's show. I'm going to read here. Trust yourself, the Dr. Dolores Show. Embark on a transformative journey with our latest episode, Trust Yourself Now. In a world buzzing with doubt and uncertainty, discover the power of cultivating unshakable confidence from within, tapping into the secret sauce that is innately you. This episode is a roadmap to unlocking the secrets of self-trust, designed to empower you with practical strategies and profound insights too. As you listen, you'll find yourself immersed in a narrative that transcends the conventional, inviting you to silence the noise of self-doubt and embrace the newfound trust in your abilities. Join your host, Dr. Dolores, as she delves into the heart of authentic confidence, exploring the tangible steps that lead to a more empowered you. From expert advice to personal stories of triumph over adversity, Trust Yourself Now is your compass for navigating the intricacies of building confidence that stands the test of time. Each word is carefully curated to resonate with your journey, motivating you to lean in, listen, and uncover the untapped potential within you. So stay tuned next week, because this is promised to be a very juicy episode. And, just a little bit about trusting yourself as we kind of prepare for next time. A lot of things I tell you, it could be used for everything. It's not just one category. Just reflect on your successes and set realistic expectations. No beating self up. Okay? Baby steps, so important. And most important, keep your promises to yourself. Trust starts with ourselves. And, it's about boundaries and self-care, and also putting yourself in situations where you feel safe, secure, heard, valued, and appreciated. So, as we wrap up this episode on jumping timelines, I just want people to know that you're not going crazy. This too shall pass. And where you're going is more amazing than you could imagine. You just have to give yourself permission and allow yourself to just be with what's happening, and know that you're being upgraded in ways you probably have no idea yet. And that's okay. That's why we want to call it a surprise. And it's going to probably be way better than you could ever imagine. So when you feel like you're wobbling and you're going down the rabbit hole of fear, I invite you to flip the switch, take a deep breath, and start focusing on love, appreciation, abundance, and prosperity, because you are worth it. You deserve this. This is your true nature. And it's time for us to embrace that and show up in the world in all our glory. So remember, you're worth it. And I love you. And stay tuned for our next episode. Bye now.
Thank you for listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. Dr. Dolores returns Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, remember to be kind to yourself and create your best life. You are worth it.